guys, Project Gaming here, back with another video. Today's video is something a little bit different from what I normally do. Recently, I got a comment from a subscriber by the name of The Salty Morton. I'll link his channel in the description. Go sub to him because I think he's pretty cool. Basically, he asked me to go over my thoughts on the Call of Duty Vanguard beta, and I thought that was a great video idea, seeing that the game comes out in about 2 weeks or so. Before we get into the video though, I just want to say that a large proportion of my viewers aren't subscribed, so please, if you enjoy my content, dropping a sub would help me out a lot. Anyways, the first thing I want to talk about is the core gameplay of the beta. I know that it was over a month ago, but I played the hell out of it, and I think it's definitely a good reference. I had about maybe 10-12 hours played on it. Yes, it's gross, but what can I say? I had a lot of fun playing it with my friends. That brings me to my first point. For first impressions, in my opinion, Vanguard multiplayer seemed pretty solid. I think the selection of guns in game modes is a great start compared to Cold War multiplayer. Now, I don't have that much to say since my first Call of Duty was Cold War, but I want to mention that I have played enough of the older CODs in the past year to get a feel for how things are. I think the engine that Vanguard runs on is super smooth and the gun mechanics feel satisfying. I think that blind fire and moving while mounted are two cool aspects to shake up the gameplay. The maps were great and I feel like they had a good flow to them. Now let's move on to the gun mechanics. Let's go over the available weapons and my thoughts on them and their mechanics. For the assault rifles, we have the BAR, the Itcha Burst, the NZ41, the STG, and the Volk. In my opinion, I felt like the BAR was really good. It was a semi-auto 3 to 4 shot kill and it felt smooth. I didn't really use the Itcha Burst, but I'm figuring it was a standard burst rifle. Warzone Metamaker. The NZ41, in my opinion, was the worst version of the STG and was probably the worst assault rifle out of all of the available assault rifles in Vanguard. The STG was probably an S tier. Out of the background clips, you'll see me use it the most because it was super solid. It has manageable recoil, hits super hard, and is all around a great gun to use. The Volk was a near rival to the SCG because it was also super good and had a great fire rate. Now let's move on to the SMGs. For the SMGs, we have the M1928, the MP40, and the Sten. I don't need to explain this much. They are SMGs. What do you expect? High fire rate, godly damage, and no downsides whatsoever. P.S. If you stayed this long, thanks. It means a lot to me. I really try to make my videos as interesting as possible. Now let's talk about the LMGs and shotguns. Pro tip, don't use them unless absolutely necessary. Now for the snipers. A list of them were the Kar98 and the 3-line rifle. They carried over the feel of Modern Warfare 2019, which, by the way, I stream every day until Vanguard comes out to get used to the gameplay engine. Anyway, they were solid and had minimal issues. The one problem I personally found was that after a while, they randomly stopped being a one-shot kill and consistently hit marker. Hopefully, this will be fixed in the full game as it will make sniping a viable option for multiplayer gameplay. The Kar98 was no doubt the best sniper, and the 3-line is a good backup option. Pistols were decent, they were just pistols, they were there. Launchers were downright awful. Finally, I didn't really get a chance to use melees, but they're just melees. Knife go stab, long story short. My third point about the Call of Duty Vanguard multiplayer beta is match pacing. I thought that match pacing was a very good integration for Activision to make, as it allows to change the flow of the game, but at the same time it keeps the fun and has the same Call of Duty feel to a match. I'm super excited to see how this works for hardcore and the camo grind in general, because I feel like it could be very interesting. I felt that it kept each match from being boring and repetitive. As you wanted to play in larger lobbies, you could make the selection. I personally enjoyed 8v8 and 10v10, but yeah, that's how I feel about match pacing. Overall, it's very good. The fourth thing I wanted to talk about is maps. At first, the map rotation for the multiplayer beta was really cool, because I think that Sledgehammer laid out some really cool maps that were well designed. They all felt unique in their own way and were enjoyable compared to the base maps of Cold War. Now here's where I'm going to get a bit controversial for a second. I felt like the maps were designed perfectly for the camping playstyle, as there were a lot of ratty spots on the maps like Red Star, where players could camp and had glitched windows, but luckily not that many people chose to play that way. And hey, You play the way you want to play. It's Call of Duty. Overall, I enjoy the maps like Gavudu, Hotel Royal, and Eagle's Nest. Also, there will be 20 multiplayer maps at launch, 16 for 6v6 and 4 for Champions Hill. I'm excited to see how the maps fit into the story and gameplay. Now, let's quickly talk about perks. Here's a list of all the available perks in Vanguard. Ghost, Survival Training, which is basically TACMaster in Cold War, High Alert, Tracker, Demolition, Double Time, and Forward Intel. The one issue I'd say I had with perks was Forward Intel. I feel like a player should not have to select a perk to have access to a radar sweep on the minimap. I don't think it's that much of an issue, but in every Call of Duty, you never really needed a perk for a minimap, because it's basically just a given. Last thing I can think of to bring up is the cons of the beta. I really only had a small amount of nitpicky things. For example, the sniper consistency as mentioned before, and the camping spots on certain maps. I know a lot of people are also annoyed by the sun being too bright, but I really don't care enough to notice, and I'm sure that it'll be ironed out in the full game. Overall, I feel like, in my opinion, that Call of Duty Vanguard is actually going to be a pretty solid game despite what people are saying about it. In my opinion, I feel like Vanguard is going to do super well because it's a great game at its core and it has a lot of cool mechanics that haven't been seen before. When it comes out on November 5th, I'll definitely be streaming it every day if I can, and also making a video every 3 days or so stay tuned for that. If you're still watching, thanks. I really hope that you enjoyed this video because it was really fun to make, and I make gaming videos every week. I would appreciate it if you drop a sub, like, or even a comment, but I get it if you don't want to. Let me know if I should make more videos like this in the future, and until the next one, stay cool, gamers.